What's up, guys? James here with Fun Fact of the Day. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, learning lots and getting stuff done. Have you ever wondered why we eat the very specific things that we eat on Thanksgiving? Cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie. Well, I haven't either. Until now. If you were about to click off this video because you think that pilgrims are the reason we eat all of these things, well, think again. If that were the case, smallpox would probably be on the standard Thanksgiving Day menu. We're gonna break down this pilgrim Thanksgiving and put all of these various myths that go along with it to rest. And then we're gonna figure out exactly where all of these foods actually came from. Alright, well, my cat has decided that he is joining us for this video, so I'm just gonna keep talking and we'll see what happens. Do you have anything to say to the audience, Pico? Here's your chance. The microphone is right here. You see, in 1621, the Plymouth Colony and the Winnipesaukee Indians got together for a giant 3-day feast, and that is what we consider Thanksgiving, the original Thanksgiving. And so, during that time, what the heck did they eat? Well, fortunately, 2 random guys actually wrote first-hand accounts of this incident, and so we actually have a pretty good idea of what they might have eaten. Thanks to the first account we have, we know for a fact that the Indians brought specifically 5 deer. So, venison was definitely on the menu. Now, you might be wondering, well, where the heck's the turkey? And that is where the second guy came in. They both talked about eating a lot of fowl, or, birds, essentially. And the second guy quoted specifically that they went out and got a ton of birds that would feed the entire company for almost a week. And in the area, this other guy also mentioned that there were quite a few wild turkeys, of which they took many. So, it can reasonably be assumed that there was at least one turkey on the plate of somebody during that first Thanksgiving. Now, most historians kind of agree that most of the birds were probably ducks and geese, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and assume that there was at least one turkey at the original Thanksgiving. You gotta wonder, was cat ever on the menu for Thanksgiving? And that is exactly where these traditional foods at this particular feast stopped. You see, sugar back in 1621 on American soil was an extremely rare luxury, and there pretty much was none, simply because nobody had shipped any over here yet, so we were sugarless. And that means cranberry sauce would have probably been impossible to eat because, I don't know if you've eaten a raw cranberry before, but it tastes like a really unripe lemon mixed with the outer coating of a warhead candy. It is unbelievably tart and sour and bitter and just pretty much terrible in every way. So you have to add boatloads of sugar to it to make a cranberry sauce that is even remotely palatable. However, in the next 50 years or so, there were reports of enough sugar being shipped over here that there definitely could have been cranberry sauce in, celebrations following this, but definitely not in the original one. Now, what about pumpkin pie? Well, they actually did have pumpkins available in the colonies at that time. However, they were short a few things that are pretty essential to pumpkin pie. Things like sugar, flour, and butter. And I don't know if you've had a pumpkin pie without sugar, flour, and butter, but those are the only ingredients aside from pumpkin. So, realistically, they probably didn't eat any pumpkin pie there. Also, it is to be noted that there probably wasn't even an oven available at the time because they were so primitive. Now, what about mashed potatoes? Well, there weren't actually any on the continent yet, so those are an out also. So, now you're probably thinking, why do we eat all of these random foods that didn't even exist in the original Thanksgiving dinner, except for turkey, of course? Well, turkey actually was a tradition for quite a while after this, and, all the way up until now. People liked turkey because it was the only thing on a farm that didn't produce anything else, so it was pretty much just there for eating. Like, a chicken lays eggs, so you don't want to just eat a bunch of chickens, they're valuable. Cows, they give you milk, so you don't want to eat a bunch of cows because they're valuable too, but turkeys were pretty much useless except for eating, and they were big enough that one turkey could easily feed an entire family. But as for all of the other things like cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie, stuffing, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, etc., We owe all of that to some random author/magazine editor in the 1820s named Sarah Josepha Hale. Yes, all of our traditions come from one random lady. You see, in the 1820s and 1830s, she started actively campaigning for Thanksgiving to be a real holiday, a nationally recognized holiday. And she did this for 30 years, until Lincoln signed it into an actual law where Thanksgiving was a national holiday. But during these 30 years, she wrote quite a few magazine articles and chapters in various books, specifically outlining all of the foods that go on a Thanksgiving Day table. And they even included recipes. And wouldn't you guess, most of those foods were things specifically like cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie, stuffing, sweet potatoes, and mashed potatoes, and even a homemade gravy. So we owe our entire Thanksgiving feast that we eat every year to this random lady in the mid-1800s. If you want to give some thanks to me, you can do that by clicking on this video right here. It'll have a whole bunch of my other videos, and it really helps the channel if you watch more of them. Plus, you'll get to learn a bunch of random things about all these random things that you never wanted to know, but now you do want to know. That's all for me today. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will see you soon. Pico, do you remember back in the olden days when I thought I was going to film a video, and then you decided that petting you was much more important?